When it comes to GPUs and the stupidly high end, there's some choices to make. Not just with which brand to go for, but which particular model you decide to spend your hard-earned cash on. So with lots of choices out there, where do you turn to? Well, MSI's SUPRIM lineup has been at the forefront of this segment of the market for the last few generations, and they believe that they have the secret sauce for delivering the very best RTX 5080 experience for those not wanting to compromise on any area, including features, cooling potential, and that all-important overclocking headroom. But with a price premium well above MSRP, does it offer enough to tempt you in? Well, that's what we're going to find out. But before we get into that, here's a quick word from this video sponsor.
Oi oi, I hear you're in the market for a proper top-of-the-line monitor. Best blacks, brightest whites, sharper than a tailor's crease, am I right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Well, look no further, my son. Feast your peepers on this, the Glare 5000, a true marvel of technology. Just maybe don't use it when the sun's out.
What? That's not what I want. I was after a 32-inch 4K 165Hz QD OLED with adaptive sync.
Core blimey, we've got a right tech connoisseur here. You don't mess about, do you? All right. I see where you're coming from. Forget the Glare Master, that was just a warm-up. What you need, my friend, is the Aegon Pro AG326UD from AOC. Top tier gear, 4K, 165Hz, QD OLED, all the bells and whistles. And get this, HDR 400 certified. That's the real deal, no mucking about.
That does sound good.
Of course it does. I wouldn't steer you wrong, would I? I'm all about quality, me. Now, if you want to get your hands on one of these beauties, you know what to do. To find out more, click the link in the description below. You won't regret it, my son. Lovely jubbly.
Okay, so elephant in the room time. The RTX 5080 is meant to be a $999 base card. And while I'm sure some gamers managed to snap a few MSRP-based models up for that price, we are seeing inflated pricing, even for your run-of-the-mill basic models without all of the flashy lights, huge overclocking potential, and massive chunky coolers. Which means that the models that do offer those features, well, yeah, they're gonna command even more. And priced in at what's meant to be $1,250, it's a steep increase over the MSRP pricing that, well, never was. And you could easily be expected to pay over $1,500 right now for this model, if you can get it at all, that is. Now, pricing to one side, because I don't just want to focus solely on that, let's take a look at what we actually have on offer. The MSI RTX 5080 SUPRIM SoC is a pre-factory overclocked premium SKU that highlights MSI's latest developments and feats in cooling technology. Out of the box, the card packs a 2745 MHz boost clock, which comes in just under 5% faster than the reference 2617 MHz clock speed, while still packing the same 1875 MHz memory clock. So, not the biggest overclock in the world, especially given that we know that these Blackwell-based GPUs can clock pretty far, but we'll look at how much more we can squeeze out shortly, especially given the large cooler that should, in theory, help maintain temperatures, allowing us to push things a little bit further. Now, speaking of the cooler, what that gives us is an updated premium shroud with 3 Stormforce axial fans with a unique serrated design that helps to pull air in and push it across the large vapor chamber-based heatsink through use of 7 flattened heat pipes, thus improving surface area and heat transfer. Of course, in theory, there's no way that we can sort of look at this and go, yes, it does, or no, it doesn't, but I guess in cases like this is where we just have to believe MSI. But I guess why would they be investing their money into all of this new tech if it wasn't worth doing? The card itself uses a mix of materials across that shroud, which not only assists in the kind of style department, but it does add to the overall quality of the card. And in places, of course, does assist in cooling, like the full metal backplate with airflow vents to help heat pass out of. Now, the aspect that helps cooling the most is, well, the sheer size of the heatsink, which makes the card obscenely large at 359mm long, 150mm tall, and 76mm thick, making it a 3.5 slot card. And, well, coming in at 2,614 grams, it's not the lightest card that we've seen. But I actually do like that, as it gives us an extra element of quality through its precision crafted design and just general overall craftsmanship. Now, due to its weight, it does come with a support to eliminate GPU sag, but on a card of this caliber, I just expected something a little bit better. especially considering that it's the same support that comes with MSI's Ventus MSRP-based cards, and competitor cards offer just a more sturdy metal bracket that screws into the end of the card. To me, it just, I don't know, feels like MSI skimped out a little on that front. Now, in typical fashion, with cards at this price point, you do get some extra features, such as the all-important RGB, but MSI have toned this down quite dramatically from the previous generation. Now we only have the SUPRIM logo at the front edge, SUPRIM wording along the side, and 2 pulsating areas on the front of the card, which all by default glow white. Though of course you can control this to be any and all colours of the rainbow if you so wish. And what's nice about this is that it makes the card, straight out of the box, just seem more grown up and mature without restricting your own creative flair. Now what you will find is that while it looks nice horizontally mounted, if you're all about that RGB life, then honestly speaking, mounting the card vertically will look a lot better. We also get a dual BIOS switch to take it from gaming mode, which is set as default, to silent mode for those who want to prioritise noise levels. But sadly, this does nothing for the clock speeds, and instead simply adjusts the fan curve to be less aggressive compared to gaming mode. Now, compared to the previous generation of SUPRIM cards we've looked at, there's definitely something about this lineup with improved design and cooler. It just feels better. And I know that's kind of a given, as of course you'd expect the newer iteration to be better than the last. But there's just, I don't know, a definite step up in direction here. And in all honesty, I'm liking it. Now, connection-wise, as you'd expect, there's the 3 standard DisplayPort connectors and a single HDMI. And for supplying the 360 watt of power that this baby is able to pull, we have a single 12 volt 2x6 power connector along the top. Now, an 850 watt PSU is recommended to run this card, but for users looking to buy an RTX 5080 SUPRIM SoC, you're likely rocking pretty high-end hardware anyway, so you may need a slightly higher wattage unit kind of depending on the rest of your system specs, so definitely keep that in mind. So, overall, a gorgeous looking card with some impressive specs, even if the SoC or Super Overclock naming leaves something to desire, as, well, for me, less than 5% as an overclock isn't what I'd class as super overclocked. And, well, that's a naming convention that was once done by Gigabyte many years ago. So, I don't know, I'm not really quite sure what's going on there. That aside, obviously it makes sense to see what we're able to do ourselves in terms of overclocks because, well, looking at the size of it, you'd like to think there's quite a decent amount of headroom in this card, especially given its higher price point as well. It's here where we managed to push our memory overclock by the maximum 375 MHz, which is capped specifically by NVIDIA. But in terms of the core clock, we were actually able to increase that by 430 MHz, giving us an overall boost clock of 3175 MHz. So a pretty sizable overclock from stock. And considering that this card already comes pre-factory overclocked, it's nice to see that we do have some extra headroom above that. Though to see what that does for real-world performance, we booted up F124 for an hour-long loop to see how temperatures, fan speed, power usage, and clock speed behaviour changed, if at all. It's here where the SUPRIM SoC is clearly doing a good job with that large cooler when compared to the Founders Edition, coming in on average 7 to 8 degrees cooler on both the GPU and memory junction temperatures. And while the overclock did increase temperatures up slightly, we're only talking a couple of degrees at max. The GPU clock was able to sustain its higher boost at stock by around 150 MHz over the FE, while the overclock saw another 90 MHz improvement on average over that, along with that hefty memory clock that now sits at 18,001 MHz. The fans remain silent at stock, actually coming in slightly quieter than the Founders model, but even then we're only talking around 20 RPM or so. So while the overclock did see the speed increase, it wasn't really to any levels that I'd class as audible when compared to the rest of our system. And collectively, we still saw the SUPRIM SoC a reasonable power limit in comparison to NVIDIA's MSRP base card. Though again, the overclock did see this increase to around 340 watts. To see what that means for uplifts in gaming performance, we booted up some games, and starting things off with A Plague Tale. It's here where the MSI SUPRIM SoC card was already well in the mix, sitting towards the top of our standings of other 5080 based cards at 85 FPS, which is already 8% ahead of the Founders Edition, and overclocking in this instance actually had quite a, detrimental effect. While it did give us an extra 1 FPS, which could be argued as margin of error, and equates to just over 1%, it did see our lows drop quite dramatically, indicating that while it is stable across all of the titles we tested, it's clearly not liking the overclock as much in this game. and it would be safer to claw things back, which is what makes overclocking such finicky business in the first place. In Black Myth Wukong, the MSI SUPRIM SoC is already sitting 4% ahead of the FE model from Nvidia, giving us 2 frames per second more in the averages and 3 FPS more in the lows, and topping our chart for our 5080 results. With the overclock in place, it did have an effect to the same tune of 4%, which now puts it 7% ahead of the FE, and the 1% lows have seemingly sorted themselves out in this title. In Cyberpunk, the MSI SUPRIM SoC at stock commands a 5% lead over the Founders Edition's results, and sits in line with the performance of the RTX 4090. Overclocking sees things push further by 8% over its stock result, now at 67 FPS, and with a smaller bump of 4% in the lows. And this is now enough to overtake the RTX 4090 and sits just above the stock results of the Asus TUF Gaming 5080 that we looked at recently. Moving on to Indiana Jones, and again we do see higher levels of performance over the MSRP-based FE model by 3%, and with much healthier 1% low figures as well. Overclocking sees those lows drop slightly, though still manages to sit 15% ahead of those on the FE model. But the more important part is how the overclock manages to raise the averages by 7%, which now puts it 11% ahead of the stock results of the Founders model from Nvidia. Then in Starfield again we see a small but modest boost over the FE of 2%, which puts it between the Asus TUF Gaming and Inno3D X3 cards at 87 FPS. And yet again the overclock does push performance further, though only by 3% in this case, but again shows that the lows take a hit and some more fine tuning would be needed to just balance that out. Though while it would raise the lows back up, it would likely take a hit in the averages to compensate for it anyway. In Black Myth Wukong again, but this time with ray tracing enabled, the MSI SUPRIM SoC sits 3% ahead of the Founders Edition, though this does only equate to a single frame per second, and overclocking doesn't really do much to help either, as this pushes performance up by another 3%, but again we're talking just a single FPS. Then lastly, in Cyberpunk 2077, the MSI card comes out the strongest at stock with an 8% lead over the FE. Though with such low numbers, we're only talking 2 frames per second anyway, and, well, the overclock doesn't do much to further increase that, as performance increases by a margin of error 4%, which overall translates to just a single FPS uplift. So, the RTX 5080 SUPRIM SoC from MSI. It delivers a high-end experience with a strong factory overclock, premium cooling and refined aesthetics. However, much like the rest of the 50 series, its biggest drawback remains pricing. While MSRP is meant to be $1250 for this card, real-world pricing pushes it significantly higher, sometimes exceeding $1,500, making it difficult to justify over lower-priced alternatives that just offer similar performance gains, especially when you consider that the MSRP for the Founders is $999. And that leaves the SUPRIM SoC on a pretty steep incline. That being said, MSI have done a very solid job of making this one of the most polished 5080 options available, and well, I can't really fault them for that. And I could argue that I can see where the extra cost has gone. Though as always, and I'll keep on saying it, the FE is just so good from every aspect, and that makes it a tricky one for any AIB, though it's clear to see that the large cooler on this is, well, pretty damn special. In terms of the cooling performance, it's definitely one of the standout features of the SUPRIM SoC, with its large vapor chamber, the enhanced airflow design, and the triple Stormforce axial fans. That collectively was able to keep temperatures pretty impressively low. Compared to the Founders Edition, it ran an average of 7 to 8 degrees cooler, and even when overclocked, it still maintained a manageable temperature profile with just only a slight increase. Noise levels were also well controlled, with the stock configuration being even quieter than the FE, even if it was just by, well, quite a small margin. Now, in terms of overclocking, while the SUPRIM SoC already comes with a factory boost, I think I've made it clear that it's just not enough. But even then, we managed to push it even further to some, well, pretty impressive levels. And while some games benefited from this overclock, others showed regression in the 1% lows, highlighting that stability and fine-tuning are still key factors when pushing performance further. And, well, for us, we kind of did the quick and dirty overclock. It was stable, don't get me wrong, but there was definitely room for improvement. Now, in terms of stock gaming performance, it was already strong. But with the SoC sitting ahead of the Founders Edition in every title tested, that's always nice to see. And you can, I guess, argue that that's where the money's going. And then when overclocked, we did see the performance increase. But again, I think there's definitely room for further tweaking if you're willing to put the time in. Though some games saw lower uplifts, reinforcing that while the SUPRIM SoC is a powerful card, it doesn't always necessarily translate to major performance leaps. So definitely keep that in mind as well. One thing I do like is, well, I mentioned this before, MSI have toned down the RGB on this model, just making it more refined compared to previous SUPRIM releases, with a more minimalistic aesthetic straight out of the box. The build quality is still top notch and still has that mix of materials that add to its, I guess, premium positioning, though the included GPU support bracket, in my opinion, could have been better, as reusing the same design as MSI's lower tier cards, to me just feels like a bit of an oversight, especially when you factor in the extra pricing. Beyond that, feature-wise, the dual BIOS switch is expected, though I was actually a little bit disappointed to find it doesn't impact clock speeds, and instead it simply just adjusts fan behavior. But I don't know, maybe I'm being picky and this isn't a huge deal breaker. Ultimately, I guess if I had to sum this up, it's a premium option for those who want one of the best 5080s available, if it's available. And even then, there's a but. And, well, a very big but, as it comes at a high cost. While cooling, build quality, factory overclocking are all excellent, the price premium makes it a tough sell over MSRP-based models, unless you're specifically wanting the SUPRIM's cooling and aesthetic touches. If you can get it, and again, a big if you can get it at a reasonable price, I'll be honest, it's a fantastic card. But if not, you may be better off looking at more cost-effective options. Though sadly, in the current market, it may just be a simple matter of, well, getting what you can get your hands on at that particular time. So there we have it. That's going to wrap up our review of the MSI 5080 SUPRIM SoC. If you enjoyed the video, a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated. And if you love what we do and want to help support us in everything that we do, along with getting a ton of cool benefits like behind-the-scenes content, exclusive game nights, and early access to what we're working on, then check out our Patreon. The link is, as always, down below. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.